Hello everyone and welcome back to the Adventures in Collecting YouTube channel, where we take a closer look at the toys we talk about on the show. And today we are we're getting a little spooky. We're getting a little spooky as we head as we're in the depths of winter, nowhere near Halloween, of course. But that doesn't stop the fun horror things from coming out from NECA. And today we are taking a look at the Creep from the Creepshow Shudder television series. You know, again, like, kind of designed off of the idea of those EC comics, yeah, the Creepshow, Tales from the Crypt kind of look. This is the mascot of the show, as you can see him on the back here. You know, again, the television show was inspired by the films, which was inspired by those EC comics. And looking at the box, you really get that vibe here. So the Creepshow logo, and of course, tales of suspense and horror. And then, you know, on the side, even you get the nice, like, comic book font and the little description here. And, you know, I can pause that for a second so that way you guys can read that. But yeah, you get you know, you get a really nice box here with this figure. Of course, it is a cloth figure here from NECA. You can see all the accessories you get: an additional hand, the lantern, the skull. But why leave them in the box, right? So let's flip the camera around and let's take a look inside the NECA Creepshow. And here we have the Creep. So certainly this figure is its namesake. What a disturbingly creepy figure. So very very accurately representing the Creepshow brand television show. This figure is creepy, and it's also gorgeous at the same time. Kind of the thing we've come to expect from these NECA horror figures, right? So let's take a quick look at his, you know what, let's take a quick look at his accessories, right? So you can see I have him with his alternate hand here holding the lantern. We do get, what's really cool is we get a little Creepshow comic book, and it's a page turner, including the back issues here on the back. So nice little laminated comic book. Whether you use it to display with, whether you use it to display with the Creep or some, you know, use it in your toy photography for some other figures. This is an awesome, fun little accessory that I actually did not know it came with, because it was hidden below the packaging. You also get a, like I said, the alternate hand, so it's the same as the other hand, you know, just kind of an outstretched hand. And then the mystery here, the bonus, if you will, is this half a skull. Now, the half a skull has a peg hole on the bottom of it. And my guess is that I have the ability to take the head off of the Creep and put this in its place. So we are going to test that theory right now. All right. So the answer to that question is no. It does not fit. First of all, when I took the Creep's head off, plus it looks really strange. When I took the Creep's head off, the actual peg came with it. So let's return the head back to the post here. All right, so I have returned the Creep's head to its body for the remainder of the review. So let me pull the lantern out of its hand here. What I really appreciate, first of all, is the hands. You know, NECA typically has those, like, hard plastic hands. This is like a soft rubber, his lantern gripping hand, so he can very easily hold onto the lantern, which again is a beautifully designed accessory and a well-executed accessory with that special hand. And I mean, he holds that thing perfectly. And it's nice and light too, so it doesn't drag him down. Yeah. All right, so let's talk about articulation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take him off screen here for a moment, and I'm going to try to take his robe off, so that way we can take a look at what's underneath.
5 hours later.
All right, so with very little difficulty, I was able to get the robe off, and my goodness, they are hiding some artistry under here. So take a look at all of this sculpting that's across this zombified body. It is wonderful. like remnants of entrails and guts and rib cages, and it is awful, and it is wonderful, and I love it. But let's take a look at, I mean, really, like, down to the toes, everything. It's just a zombie. So even if you were just looking for a zombie figure, you know, maybe to have Ash battle, or, you know, swallow your soul, you know, this works incredibly. I mean, look at this thing. It's the stuff of nightmares. All right, so articulation. So, no problems here with the head. You know, looks down, looks up considerable amount. No articulation in the jaw, but I mean, like, the detail on the face is ridiculous. We do have double jointed elbows. However, I have not busted out the hot water yet, or the blow dryer. My second joint is completely stuck, and I am not moving it because these arms are they're very thin, and I am not breaking that post. Yeah, so just again, NECA figures. It's wherever you land on the sentiment, but just know that sometimes the joints, the paint apps are pretty thick on these figures in order to get the look that they get, the washes and everything. So just be careful with that second joint. He does rotate at the elbow. I'm sure he would rotate at that second joint too. I'm just, like I said, you know what? I'm gonna go for it. Let's see. No, nope. All right. So yeah, so that joint is pretty good and stuck. We do get a nice rotation here at or pivot. You know, crunch at the rib cage. Let's see. Let's check this other elbow. So our other elbow. So, you know, again, that top joint moves great. Let's see. Bottom one is also stuck. Yeah. All right. Yeah, so again, just be careful with these joints. You know, the last thing you want to do is, you know, I get it. Yeah, it would be great if they moved out of the package, but, you know, who else is making incredible figures like this that have, you know, little tiny issues like that? So a little bit of hot water will fix that. You do get rotation and pivot at the wrist as well on the open hand. On the legs, no issues here, you know, moving them. You know, you can see that joint underneath, a little non-painted joint. Looks like I might be stuck on the one side here. Let's see if I can get it moving. Or it could be, actually no, it's because of the sculpt on that side. So to give him that kind of off-centered look, his hips are sculpted a little bit unevenly, which is fine. I mean, it's not like you're going to be putting your zombie in a karate poses, but you do get a fair amount of movement out of those legs. You know, it does rotate. You know, they go pretty far back, pretty far forward. You do get a single jointed knee. Reminds me almost like the xenomorph knees. And then, you know, your rotation and swivel at the foot. So let me dress him back up and let's compare him with some other toys. Here's a super quick rundown. Here is the Creep next to Ultimate Ghostface, another clothed figure from NECA. As you can see, they scale to the same height, even though the Creep does not come in that typical Ultimates box. He is not an 8-inch scale cloth figure, which I've seen going around. A lot of people think he's going to be an 8-inch figure. He is actually a 7-inch figure, so he scales directly with, you know, say, Ghostface. So they look great next to each other. And let's see how he scales with another figure from the horror universe, but from a different maker. So let's turn back the clock. And here he is next to the McFarlane Toys Movie Maniacs Freddy Krueger, one of my favorite figures of all time. Permanent staple in my collection on my shelf. As you can see, they look fantastic next to each other as well. The Creep might be a little bit tall. You know, the NECA figures do scale a little bit larger than those old McFarlane ones do, but this guy, he holds up to the test of time. And then lastly, as I mentioned, maybe you just want the Creep as a zombie figure to you know, to do battle with, say, somebody like Ash from Evil Dead. So there he is with Ash from Evil Dead. Perfect zombie companion. You know, Ash can, you know, can read something from the Necronomicon, and the Creep can maybe read him a comic book. So let's flip it around, let's wrap this up, and then we'll come back here for some pictures. So boy, is this figure creepy. So yeah, I mean, so sure, it does have some of those pain points that, you know, some other NECA figures have in terms of the joints being a little tight, a little scary, not the kind of scary that they intended, but with a little TLC, you know, you get this figure going right away. Whether you are a Creepshow fan of either the original, the television show, or simply you're just looking for a really cool zombie figure, because, you know, you can, you know, as we saw, you can take this this off here, and you just have a really cool, like the sculpting and the detail on the actual creep works really well if you just want a really cool zombie figure. You know, it is another knock out of the park here for NECA. You know, for horror fans, I cannot wait to put this on my horror and sci-fi shelf. Very cool. Yeah, so that being said, make sure you hit that subscribe button down there so that way you don't miss videos like this of us taking an in-depth look at some of the toys that we love. While you're subscribing to things, make sure that you follow us here at AIC_podcast on Instagram and Twitter, where we're constantly posting toy news, toy photography, all of the fun things that are going on within the toy community. And then, of course, where it all started, our home base, the Adventures in Collecting podcast. You can find us where all podcasts are found, or you can hit the link in the description, which will take you to our website where you can find out all that information. So as always, stick around after the fade for some additional pictures, and until next time.